then that is a benefit to them. Part of that is, and I don't know if you know this, have y'all heard of paid leave, PTO? Y'all heard of PTO? Yeah. Paid time off, right? Yeah. So right now, in the United States, there is no law that says companies have to give us paid time off. They have it. I mean, they give it to us, but there's no law saying that they have to. Now, every other country in the world gives paid time off if there's a person that needs to go out on maternity leave. Now they got paternity leave. They get 2 to 3 months. Here in the United States, we don't have paid time off.
Different countries, they have a paternity, and father can also stay 3 months.
Absolutely.
And mother, father both, and they get salary.
Absolutely. And it's paid time off. Here in 1993, we had the family medical leave, right? That is, what that says is that the companies where you've worked a year, you have to get 12 weeks unpaid leave. So you better have you some sick time saved up if you want to get paid during that 12. It always baffles me because I'm like, okay, I go out to have a kid, right? That's when I need the money the most, but now I have to be 12 weeks of unpaid leave. How am I supposed to survive on that? You can't. But we are one of the only countries that does that. In 1910, I believe it was William Taft, the president, he suggested that every American worker needed 2 to 3 months vacation. And it never got passed. It never got passed. The next president that came along said, you know what, we got to figure out something. Our citizens are suffering, they're not getting time off. So that was in 1910. Then they realized that all these other countries are doing it, and then they realized that they didn't really care what other countries are doing, and that we are a capitalist society. People need to be working in order for us to make all the money, and it kind of just left from there. But as of today, we do not have a law that says companies have to give us paid time off. They use it as a recruiting instrument to say, hey, you can get 2 weeks. But if you don't take those 2 weeks, we're going to take them back. So keep that in mind. I've always been a government worker, meaning I've always worked for the state or the county or the city, where it is automatic that if you work, you gain time. So for every month, I would get 8 hours of vacation. So by the time a year comes, what is that, 8 times 12? Is that 6, come on now, 88 is 11. Y'all know I'm not a math teacher. Come on, what is that? 8 times 12 is 96. I think that's what that is. Yeah, see, I had to put it together. I'm telling you, I never majored in math. That was not my strong suit. Anyway, but that was the way I could ensure. And then by the time that year passed, look, I was saved from FML. I made sure that I never got sick during the time of when my FML didn't take, I mean, as much as you can make sure. But I needed a foot surgery, so I had to wait a year before I even said anything so that I could get my FML, things like that. But the biggest thing about this is the knowledge of it. Some people go into something and not know that they have all these things available to them and not know how to maneuver. That's another thing this course will teach you is how to maneuver. If you have the knowledge is power. Being able to know when somebody is misusing you at your employer and say, hey, you can't do that. You can't ask me that. That's very important. Working for somewhere that has a supportive environment. That's that total person. And emotional control. Let me tell you, emotional control will save your job. If somebody is stepping at you and acting up, you being able to step back or walk away if you can will save you. Now, emotional control will also, I was about to tell you something, not just at your job, emotional control driving on these streets in Houston will save your life. I learned very early on. Keep in mind, I'm an only child, so I never had a lot of interaction because I'm also an only grandchild, so I didn't have any cousins or anything. And so I didn't have a lot of interaction with people. So much so, even when I got to college and I lived in a dorm by myself, my room, because I just did not have that skill. Which is weird because now I'm just a people person, but I grew into this, I guess. Because I have 3 kids. Can you imagine that, being the only grandchild that has 3 kids? It's a mess at my house. But emotional control, self-awareness, physical fitness. I'm telling you, I get up every morning and try to go at least ride a bike, a stationary bike or something. That opens up your mind. So if you have a lot of stress, if it's a lot going on in your life, being able to do something for yourself. You don't have to be working out, but saying, hey, I'm gonna spend 30 minutes reading this, or even if it's watching. I love FBI, the show. I will sit there for 30 minutes and I will tell everybody, leave me alone. But again, my degrees are in law enforcement, so anything like that intrigues me. But doing something for yourself makes your work life and your personal life, mesh together very well. Being in a supportive environment, making sure that when you are ready to go make that 6-figure job, that they're supportive to that. People always say Google is the best company in the world because they let you take naps there. They have sleep cubbies where you can go in there and take a nap. They have free restaurants and ping pong tables.
They have a children, what is called, even you have a small child,
Yeah.
even you are pregnant, all facilities is there.
Yep, they have daycare on site. I mean, I've worked here in the state of Texas that they do that as well. But that's being supportive, but that's still being very smart. If you're taking a nap, then you're going to stay there and work longer.
And they have swimming pool. If you want to go, use your 30 minutes to
That
go.
is to get you where you don't never have to leave. You're really working for them all day and night. They come, you can invite your spouse up there to come and eat with you, and then you go back to work and they leave. They're like, oh no, you don't have to leave. You can just stay here. Why don't y'all come have dinner up here? That, to them, that's being supportive. But that's good marketing. That's good strategy. So keep that in mind when you're looking for these jobs. Like, some of the things that influence worker behavior, the mission, the beliefs. Recently Netflix had a issue with Dave Chappelle. Everybody here have heard of him? Because he has these jokes that some people find offensive, some people don't. But the workers at Netflix got together and said, you know what, we don't want to work for a company that promotes this, that goes up to the mission, the value, the beliefs, the vision of the company. You don't want to, if it's something that you cannot, it's something you don't believe in, that's really where you don't want to be, because every day you're gonna find something wrong. You're gonna be miserable at something. And what did Netflix tell them? Well, listen, this is how we do. We don't just cater to one, we cater to everybody. And if you have strong feelings about what we do and your dislike for it, thank you for your service. And they let them go, or they allowed them to resign. So keep that in mind. Family influence. If you're having a disagreement with your significant other or your spouse, that can sometimes put you in a bad mood, and you're at work and it's like, oh, I don't really want to talk to nobody today. But knowing that, hey, they don't know what's going on at home. So keep that in mind, how you can hold on to that for when it's at home and try not to bring it up to the job. So family influence. If you have a sick kid, I can tell you personally, there's nothing worse than being at work knowing that you have a sick kid or a family member that is sick, and you're trying to figure out, in your mind's not there, your body's there, but your mind is somewhere else. Those are all things that can influence your work behavior. And your abilities, it goes back to what we were talking about, the Microsoft Office thing. If you feel that, I ain't 100% good at this, So they might have an expectation that I'm able to do this, and I might not. Don't ever doubt yourself. Go out there and learn about it. You know, don't give up on yourself. You never stop learning. If you're alive, you never stop learning. So keep that in mind. Job influence. Some people want to work at jobs that are meaningful, that they're doing something for someone. You know, some people's motivation is money. You know, they don't care what happens as long as they're making money. Some people, I have to throw out like social workers. They are really doing that job for other people. They give themselves, they have to take in all that emotional stuff. When I first got out of college, I was a child support officer. I did paternity on children to figure out who their fathers were. I had to swab them, you know, and people would bring in several different fathers for me to swab, vice versa. It was a very tiring job because sometimes people would, you know, you have someone who's older and maybe the child's 15, 16 and thought this person was their father this whole time, and now I have to swab them and tell them that that person's not their father. Vice versa, you have, you know, a person that comes in and is like, I cannot take care of this child anymore. I have no money. I'm not getting any help, and leave the baby and just leave the baby in my office. It's like, you know, so all these things can affect your work behavior. I tell you what, after she left that baby with me, I was like, you know what, I need to get into something else. You know, that's a hard situation because I have to call CPS now. I have to get the police involved, and all because, you know, she didn't have enough money to take care of the baby. However, I did refer the case to enforcement, and the guy had won a scratch-off lottery ticket for $50,000, and guess who got that? All $50,000, that mother, because we had a case open. I work for the Attorney General, and we had a case open, so when he went to go turn in that ticket, they said, I'm sorry, unfortunately, you're unable to collect this. It's going to the Texas Attorney General for your back child support. But what happened to her? She left her baby. So CPS ended up getting that money to take care of that child. That's what I'm saying. So all these things, and people say, oh, don't take your work home, or don't bring your home life to work. We're human. You know,